All right, good morning, Trade Pros. Welcome to Morning Market Update for Thursday, March the 14th of 2019. It's George Vapsov, Trade Pro Academy. We got the team here today, Azaleas to the left, Victorious to the right. I feel confident with the set of wing people. I was going to say wingmen, but wing woman, wing slash man by my side. And we got a lot to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about Boeing again, and I'm told I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, Steven said it's Boeing. It's two syllables. I like Boeing. It makes more sense to me. Steven. Well, Steven does know everything. So we got a great morning market update for you today. I hope I don't sound like Darth Vader. Actually, it was George Vader now. And yeah, we'll see. That's my alter ego, and he shows up whenever he wants. Morning market fun fact for today. Option volumes on Boeing shares hit at least a 2-year high on Tuesday, with some traders looking at a 7% advance from the current prices of Tuesday's close. All right, and the way that we know that is we look at the options volume, and there is a ton of call volume at the 400 to 410 level. And it's a trade that I'll be honest with you that I personally was exploring as well, the potential for. And I decided that it just doesn't make sense for me at this time. When it gapped down, there was an opportunity to buy some call options for an intraday trade. But for a longer term perspective, I feel personally it's a little early to be getting long on Boeing because we don't really know the extent of the damage. And there's a really big unknown factor. There will be a trade opportunity on this stock. And in fact, there's an opportunity for you to purchase it cheaper for your portfolio if you want to get exposure to it. But it'll probably take longer than right now in order to find out what's going on. And then you might be able to get it cheaper even than what it is at the moment. So just be patient on that. Of course, at the end of the day, it's your money and your decision. That's just my input. Just a quick reminder to everybody that every single day, Monday to Friday, we do a midday update similar to this morning market update where we look at our trades and we review some of the trades that we've done, trade of the day, how we did, and we share with you the news that came out and give you a little bit of guidance for the afternoon trading session. So if you'd like to see that on a daily basis, join our Facebook group. Click the link in the description and or go to Facebook.com/TradePro and you'll get there. All right, let's talk about this Boeing 737 MAX plane. They are now all grounded. The entire fleet worldwide is grounded. And this is what the FAA said. Out of an abundance of caution and in order to reassure the flying public of the aircraft's safety. This tells me two things. The FAA has kind of given into the pressure to ground their fleet just to satisfy the flyers, to keep them sort of happy and feeling safe. And the second thing that I learned here is that the FAA doesn't know what abundance really means. You can't have an abundance of caution. That's not an abundant behavior. Anywho, point I'm trying to make is all planes are grounded. Donald Trump yesterday pressed for this decision. He was saying we need to ground the planes. Donald Trump hasn't hired a head of aviation. It's kind of an unfilled role at the moment, so he stepped in. All right. Analysts are saying this. Although they feel this event will be contained in the long term, they did say that it may escalate if the fleet is not permitted to fly for a long period. And the longer that these planes remain grounded, the more these airlines are going to seek damages from Boeing directly. And that's sort of where the trouble is, and we don't know what that cost is going to be. And if it's a software update to their planes, great. It's easy fix. But if it requires any mechanical installation or any mechanical work, it's going to be a lot of money and a lot of time. Anyone who's ever ran a project or budgeted a project knows the 2-3 rule. Takes twice as long as usually planned and 3 times the money. All right. China's industrial output, shifting gears over to China right now, grew 5.3% in the first 2 months of 2019. It's the slowest pace of expansion in 17 years. So China's feeling the pressure on the other side of the world here from this tariff relationship. And Donald Trump yesterday said that he's not in a rush to do this trade deal. He's not in a rush because the market's up so much. And suddenly he's no longer in a rush. I can tell you one thing. Donald Trump, since his presidency, has said that the stock market is how he's going to evaluate himself. Not directly, but based on the communications he's been saying. So when the market's low, that's a bad sign for him. And you could see Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin was talking to the banks. Donald Trump himself tweeted, this is a great time to buy stocks on Christmas Eve. And now that the markets are up, the real truth comes out. There isn't really any any rush to get this deal done. Vic, when did you say they pushed the next meeting to? April or something? May? April at the earliest, he said, is when they're going to meet with President Xi and Donald Trump. And so we're kind of put this on the back burner. It's not causing any fear or concern at the moment because the 25% tariff increase at the end of February was delayed or suspended temporarily, and that's all the market cares about. We kind of shrugged it off, and I'll tell you something, there's no resolution to it yet, and this latest info sounds like that we're not even close to a resolution. But the market is going to ignore that, and it kind of marches to the beat of its own drum. That's all the market cares about. All right. What else do I have to you? Retail sales rose 8.2% in China in January and February. The reason we say January and February is because China takes those 2 months and combines them into one data point because of their Lunar Year celebration in February, where everybody was off for a whole week for the New Year. All right. And that's why they do the 2 months together because it's abbreviated. There's less data. Latest news out of Brexit. This is getting just, oh, the camera just came off. This is getting a little ridiculous with Brexit. I gotta be honest with you guys. Let me just put it in plain English for you of what's happening here in Brexit. So I wrote a note. This situation's a mess. Look, I don't know if you guys could see that. I literally just wrote on my phone, the situation's a mess. And I'll tell you why it's a mess and why I believe it's a mess. The parliament voted against Theresa May's Brexit plan. So she negotiated with Europe a plan that would get them out of the European Union in a timely and orderly fashion. All right. The parliament did not support her plan or her. All right. They voted it down. And the next vote, which was yesterday, they said, but look, we don't want to exit the EU without a deal. So they said no to a no deal exit out of Brexit. It's like, look, we don't like your plan, but we don't want to go without a plan. All right. So then what are we going to have to do? Now we're going to have another vote, a third vote in the same week today and out of Brexit to see if they're going to approach European Union and ask for an extension. The European Union has said, if you're going to get an extension, you need to have some kind of idea of what kind of plan you're going to get. And there's no backup plan. They just don't like Theresa May's plan, but they don't want to leave without a plan. It's getting very odd. Theresa May yesterday said, the parliament, we need to get the stuff in order and decide what we want. And she's 100% right. All right. It's sort of like when I hang out with my nieces and they want to play 6 different games at the same time. And I'm like, guys, we got to decide what we want to do. We'll do one. We'll have fun. They're like 3 and 9 months. So this is government. Anyways, point I'm making is this is getting a little messy, and we're going to see what's going to happen. March 29th is the deadline, and we're going to need to see an extension. Otherwise, at the end of the 29th, 12 a.m., it becomes very confusing as to what the next step is, kind of in limbo. All right, today's markets, Japan flat, Hong Kong flat, China down 1.2% on output growth being lower. In Europe at midday, London's up 0.5%, Paris is up 0.4%, Frankfurt's flat. Futures in the United States all flat across the board. Crude oil is also flat after having one heck of a run last couple of days. Gold prices are down 1% to $1298.30. Bitcoin is flat, $3,800. Very little movement in the markets this morning. 10-year Treasury yields up 2 basis points to 2.63%. We do have some news this morning that came out at 8:30. Okay, we had the initial jobless claims. This is a weekly report that gives us an update as to how many people filed for unemployment. So the higher the number here, the worse it is. We had 229,000 job layoff or people apply for unemployment last week versus 225,000 expected. The 4-week average has gone down to 223.8 thousand versus 226. So we had a little uptick in unemployment claims, but overall the average is going down. So all in all, this is a pretty neutral report. There's good and there's bad. The prior report was revised higher to 1.7 from 1.755 to 1.758. That's not a massive difference. It's a wash, this report. 10 a.m. we're going to see new home sales. That's a leading indicator for the economy. If consumers are doing well, there's going to be new homes being sold. That's an important data point. 10:30 we have natural gas, and Victoria has natural gas all day. I don't know. I had to. Victoria's reaction. Azalea said the other day that I have good dad jokes, but I'm not a dad yet, and who knows. Anything else you want to add, Victoria? Azalea? She's all good. All right. Fed balance sheet at 4:30 p.m. in Money Supply is coming out today, and we're gonna have the latest look at their balance sheet unwind. And I remember Jerome Powell said that he doesn't know if he's going to continue this project. Markets have rallied. We're at a turning point here. So that's the morning market update, by the way. I have no more notes, but we're at a turning point in the market, whether we're either at the start of a new rally that's going to take us to all-time highs, or we're at a level that's going to be very hard to break, and we're going to see some sideways drift for the rest of the summer. That's a likely outcome. Understand that in May, the markets start to slow down all the way through August. It becomes holiday season, less traders at their desks. All right. A few traders I know take all of July off, sometimes August as well. So you get a little bit less volume, more consolidation. You get less movement overall on net basis. So this volatility will slow down at some point. All right. And we're at a turning point here. And it would make sense if we consolidate a little bit. And I'm not sure that we're going to get to new all-time highs, given that the economy is starting to slide. I think we're waiting for a couple more prints of jobs data, some more inflation data, GDP figures, the next quarterly one. They're all important. All right. But anywho, we don't care about anything more than the intraday chart as day traders. And today, it looks like this market is consolidating between 25 on the S&P and 12. Contracts are expiring this Friday. It's quad witch. We'll let you know what that means tomorrow. You guys take care. Have yourself a great day. Appreciate you all. If you love these updates, there's a like button below that YouTube's created. Please hit it. It really helps us reach a new audience and grow our community. And a stronger and bigger community means a better you at the end of the day. So help us help you. Hit the like button. Send you guys love, joy, and happy to see you tomorrow. Goodbye. All right, trade pros in the room. Victorio's in today, so he's going to talk to us about NASDAQ. I'm enthralled at that idea. It's true, Victoria. So I'm going to talk about S&P 500 and a few levels. I know that you guys have yours drawn, so let's compare a few areas of interest for today's trade. Then we're going to send it over to Victoria to do NASDAQ, and then Steven to do oil. I'm seeing a lot of opportunity in oil. I think the ranges are wider, and we'll have some more moves. S&P looks like it may just fall asleep for today. I'm going to caution you on that. At 240,000 contracts in the June, and we have 100, or hang on, we don't have 100. Let's see how many we got on the March. ESH. Yes, H9-CME. The March contracts got just 79,000 contracts. A lot of the volumes rolled over already. You guys know that they roll over 1 week before expiry. And we may consolidate here, but let me give you some levels and let's get started for today's trading room.